Adventures of Sonic Episode 29, Robotnik Jr. I guess Robotnik got the idea from the previous episode to have a son. I mean, when I first heard Robotnik saying he'd be an old man by the time he beat Sonic, I was wondering if it would lead into an episode where he'd try to make an heir. Problem is, they'd really have to explain away why someone as significant as an heir to Eggman would either only be in one episode or would just vanish without explanation for a while anyways. So how's this gonna work? I'd love for Robotnik Jr. to be there the whole show, especially if she was a girl like I get, but that's too brilliant an idea for the show. Only Bowser's allowed to be raising children and showing a different side to them. Anyways, Grounder activates a sucking vacuum ray from a plunger, sending out a blue hand to grab Sonic, but the hand's too stupid to lift him off the ground and keep him from moving its feet on it. This stupidity lets Sonic grab a boulder, and the boulder comes off the ground and starts getting sucked up towards Scratch and Grounder as he climbs on top of it. Grounder and Scratch panic and shut off the ray to keep themselves from being hit by the boulder. Why did Robotnik program them to be able to foil his plan if it preserves their own lives? So the trap fails and he gets sucked up to them. Robotnik doesn't let the robots in and finally gets the idea to build himself a son. Why did they get crushed by the moat door instead of walking away to avoid it? That was really telegraphed.
Hey, ugly dude!
Okay, the whole episode is immediately ruined because right away we see that Robotnik's son calls him an ugly dude and is mean to him, and he doesn't get reprogrammed. There's no way that Robotnik would make his son be mean to him and do stuff like put graffiti on his bottom. He would have programmed his mind to be blindly obedient to him. I'm guessing he's an android. Robotnik hugs him for being just like him when he was younger, and he gives him his own Eggmobile. Junior says he wants a hotwire and steal it anyways. Robotnik tells him that someday the world will be his to conquer. Why is he expecting him to wait that long? But first, he's going camping. Why would Junior appreciate camping? Robotnik wants to lay down a freeway with asphalt and construct an airport to cut down the peace and quiet. Totally missing the point of camping. And Scratch has a smoke creating machine, laying down black stuff on the ground. Naturally, Scratch and Grounder are sad that Junior is Robotnik's favorite and not them, since they're technically his children too, just as much as Junior is.
Oh, it's no fair! Dr. Robotnik never took us camping!
Sonic then fools the robots with the disguise he shouldn't have somehow. Robotnik's core problem isn't solved because while he has a minion like Junior, he still has the robots around to screw everything up. They're much more of an inconvenience to him than Sonic is. They're worse enemies than friends, and Sonic never points that out to them to embarrass them. So Sonic tricks them into standing in the oil and rolls over them with a steamroller. Wouldn't Junior find this camping trip really boring? Robotnik goes right up to Sonic and doesn't even try to smack him for some weird reason. It's totally unrealistic for villains to not do that. Sonic jumps away from the spray paint can so that Junior can spray him, but Robotnik's nice enough to not punish Junior for the mistake. Junior isn't happy about getting to work, but then Robotnik says that the work is to learn to capture Sonic. He plans that while riding Eggmobiles, Scratch will lure Sonic into a labyrinth. Junior then spits at Robotnik's head multiple times. Seriously, why would he program an android son of his to act that way towards him? Bowlers wrote this better because Em and Adam were constantly acting this way towards Robotnik. And why would he be so proud of him for mistreating him? I guess that makes sense in the sense that he had an abusive mother, so being a docile abuse victim his whole life could come naturally to him. He's Robotnik! He should be punishing him, reprogramming him. He wouldn't spoil his kid, would he? No matter how much like him he was. That seems even more in character for Bowser. And even then, only for, like, Wendy. Sonic is lured into the labyrinth, but Scratch and Grounder's vehicles crash into the door of it uncontrollably and the robots fall apart. Sonic says he's waited long enough and spin dashes through the metal door to escape. Junior says he put in an extra trapdoor to the sewer out there and presses a button to send Sonic into the hole. Why did he float above the hole for so long? That's always stupid. I can accept dumb nonsense like this in the disguises in Looney Tunes, but never in Sonic. It doesn't suit Sonic at all, especially after you see Sadie M in the comics, which are nothing like this. Scratch puts a sewer grate over the whole Sonic villain suit. Junior says that since Robotnik doesn't need his worthless robots now, let's be mean to them. And Robotnik puts Scratch and Grounder on laundry duty. Oh, this is really stupid. Sonic talks underwater! He should be gurgling! This is just as stupid as in the Sonic miniseries when he did this, and that was a comic, so I was forgiving of it there. Relatively speaking. I thought that shit would only happen in a comic book. This is unreal!
If Robotnik thinks I'm all washed up.
Sonic didn't need to talk before spinning his way out of the water. And there's no way he'd just float in it and not sink to the bottom, unless the water was extremely salty. In which case, I don't think he'd even sink much. It turns out Junior is from a long line of Robotniks, as we see on the wall. Robotnik wants to go fishing with Junior so he can get to know Junior better. Why? Why would either of these sociopaths want that? Junior does graffiti on the pictures of his ancestors, and Scratch says he'll fill the fishing pond with cement so no fish will be able to escape Junior's hook. Grounder then presses a button to kick Junior into a spinning thing on a truck. Why would Sonic go to Junior's rescue? Seriously, why? I like that reality ensued and the robots turned on Junior out of jealousy, but that's not really realistic because they should be programmed to be disloyal. Tails says that these robots aren't such good friends and they don't have to be enemies with Junior. It's weird that they're giving him a chance since he's Robotnik's son. Junior is ungrateful as Sonic warns him that Scratch and Grounder kicked him into the cement mixer. Robotnik uses a crane to save Junior. Surprisingly, Junior thanks Sonic, who warns him that he's hanging out with the wrong crowd. I thought Robotnik would hear Junior thanking Sonic and be mad at him. Junior infuriatingly isn't allowed to tell Robotnik the truth, as Robotnik thinks Junior's losing his mind because he says Sonic's helped him. Junior infuriatingly isn't given the chance to tell Robotnik what Scratch did to him, because Scratch ties him up with bandages to muffle him out of complete nowhere. How did he get those bandages? This is the stupidest excuse to not get Scratch scrapped ever. Robotnik says the extendoscope will bend the sun into a beam to scorch Sonic once and for all. Scratch says that he wasn't able to focus the lens right, and it'll incinerate 100 square miles around Sonic too. Why is he programmed to say that that's a problem? Somehow, Junior escapes his bandages and muffle, and he decides to block the beam to save Sonic. Okay, he's so much like Robotnik that there's no reason he'd do this for him. Scratch activates the beam with Junior in the way. What does Junior plan to do? Well, Sonic moves around in a blur to knock over the machine and save Junior, but Junior had no possible way of knowing that he'd survive this, and this wouldn't be a heroic sacrifice, actually explaining why he's not in the next episode. He shakes Sonic's hand, and Robotnik tells him to stop doing what he tells him to. Wait, what? Huh?
And stop doing what I tell you to before I disown you!
Junior then says that he's on Sonic's side, insultingly easily. And wait, what? That's the end of the episode? They're not gonna bother explaining why he's not in the next episode? The Sonic Says message is about peer pressure. While I love the idea of Robotnik having an heir and what logically results from it, and it certainly makes more sense that his heir would look like him, while M and Adam look nothing like him, it's not logical at all that Robotnik wouldn't make sure his son would be blindly obedient to him, like M was. There's no way he'd put up with even the possibility of his son being mean to him. I couldn't imagine him going a day without punishing him eventually. And then that son would betray him for punishing him. But definitely not for Sonic's side. That was just ridiculous. There's no way a son of Robotnik who is programmed to be just like him would side with Sonic that quickly just because he helped him once. He'd send nanobots into his brain or cyborgize it to make sure he'd be obedient to him. And I hated that in the end of the episode, it's not explained what happens to him to make it so that he's not in the next episode. And I'm not sure he would be in the future episodes, because this show despises continuity. You can't have something happen with permanent ramifications and then ignore those. That's terrible writing. Who raises Junior now? We'll never know. I think it might have been better writing in the long term to blast him with the beam. I love the idea behind the episode, but his logic fell apart, and it was really annoying every time that his son messed with him and got away with it, since that would never happen. And of course, they missed an opportunity by him being a son and not a daughter. I also really hated that Junior never got the chance to tell Robotnik that Scratch and Grounder tried to kill him. It was written terribly. Even Scratch and Grounder plotting against them, why would they have the free will to do that?